Manila's momentous pivot, a turning point that could redefine the nation's future. On July 28, 2025, the Philippines accepted a sweeping infrastructure and economic proposal from Beijing, marking a bold new chapter in its international relations. This was more than a foreign investment. It signaled a potential shift in Philippine foreign policy, hinting at a realignment of loyalties and priorities. The move sent shockwaves from Washington to Tokyo, challenging the Philippines' long-standing alliances and raising questions among its traditional partners. For decades, the nation was a cornerstone of American strategy in Asia, hosting military bases and serving as a key ally in the region. Now it's moving closer to China, forging new ties that could reshape the balance of power in Southeast Asia. The implications are profound, affecting not just regional security but also the daily lives and future prospects of millions of Filipinos. The approval of China's New Era Comprehensive Strategic Infrastructure Initiative is a landmark event, promising massive investments in roads, ports, and digital networks. President Sara Duterte's administration frames this as a pragmatic step for development and sovereignty, emphasizing the need for progress and self-reliance. Critics, however, warn of risks to territorial integrity and democratic values, fearing that economic gains may come at the cost of national autonomy. The debate is fierce, polarizing a nation already used to political turbulence, with passionate voices on both sides of the issue. This decision comes amid rising tensions in the South China Sea and intensifying US-China rivalry, adding another layer of complexity to an already volatile region. The Philippines is now at the epicenter of great power competition, its choices scrutinized by the world. This policy could unlock growth and modernization, or trap the nation in dependency and mounting debt. Understanding this moment means examining the proposal's details, the politics behind it, and the long, complicated history of Manila-Beijing relations. Domestic and international reactions will shape the fallout, influencing both policy and public opinion in the months to come. Is this a new era of true independence, or just a new form of dependency under a different power? The answer may define the Philippines for generations. Let's dive in. Deconstructing the Dragon's offer. The Philippines stands at a crossroads, facing a proposal that could reshape its future for decades to come. The New Era initiative pledges a staggering $75 billion in loans, grants, and investments over the next 10 years, marking one of the largest foreign-backed infrastructure packages in Philippine history. These funds are earmarked for critical infrastructure, modernizing seaports to boost trade, constructing a high-speed railway to connect major cities, and rolling out nationwide 5G to power the digital economy. Of the total, $45 billion will come as low-interest loans from Chinese state banks, offered at a 2% rate with generous 20-year repayment terms, aiming to make large-scale projects financially feasible. Another $11.25 billion is allocated as grants, specifically targeting rural development projects, with a strong focus on uplifting Mindanao's economy and improving livelihoods in underserved regions. Additionally, $18.75 billion will be direct investments in energy and mineral processing, funneled through joint ventures designed to harness local resources and create new jobs. Oversight will be managed by joint technical committees, co-chaired by Filipino and Chinese officials, ensuring both nations have a say in every stage of implementation and project management. However, this structure has sparked concerns about Beijing's growing influence over vital national projects, raising questions about long-term control and strategic independence. The deal also promises extensive skills training and technology transfer, a key point in the government's messaging to reassure the public about long-term benefits for Filipino workers and industries. Tied closely to China's Belt and Road Initiative, this plan positions the Philippines as a central player in Beijing's broader regional vision, potentially opening new doors for trade and cooperation. While the proposal emphasizes mutual benefit, the fine print reveals requirements for Chinese contractors and materials, raising concerns about the true extent of local participation. Critics warn these terms could undermine local industry, threaten jobs, and even erode national sovereignty, fueling heated debates across the country. Supporters see unprecedented opportunity for growth and modernization. Skeptics, however, see significant risk and potential dependency. The national debate now centers on a crucial question: do the long-term benefits truly outweigh the potential costs and compromises? The details of this ambitious deal are at the heart of the national conversation, dominating headlines and political talk shows alike. The stakes for the Philippines could not be higher as the nation weighs its future on the global stage, and the legacy it will leave for generations to come. The road to approval. The approval process for the New Era initiative was swift and secretive. The proposal was presented in May 2025, followed by closed-door meetings in June. The National Economic and Development Authority Board, chaired by the President, centralized decision-making. In a special session, the board approved the deal in under 5 hours, citing economic growth and job creation. President Duterte signed the agreement on July 28, 2025, with little legislative oversight. The administration bypassed Congress, arguing executive authority. Opposition lawmakers now challenged the legality, demanding transparency. Key contract details were only released after signing, fueling public suspicion. Critics say secrecy prevented proper scrutiny of risks like debt and contract terms. The speed and opacity of the process have become as controversial as the deal itself. Echoes from the halls of power reverberate through Manila's corridors, shaping the nation's future. The Duterte administration frames the controversial deal as a bold act of economic pragmatism, a necessary leap forward for national development. Officials argue that traditional partners, despite long-standing ties, simply can't meet the country's staggering $180 billion infrastructure gap, leaving urgent needs unmet. China, they say, steps in with resources and expertise, offering a timely and practical solution to these challenges. The finance secretary claims the debt remains manageable, emphasizing that these projects are expected to generate significant returns and spur economic growth. The government insists this is not about choosing China over the US, but about prioritizing progress and the Filipino people's welfare. They argue the Philippines is pursuing an independent foreign policy, leveraging China's rise while maintaining global partnerships. Proponents believe that deepening economic ties will not only boost development, but also help stabilize relations and reduce regional tensions. Yet, the administration also reassures the public it won't compromise sovereignty or long-standing security ties with the US, addressing growing concerns. Defense officials reaffirmed their commitment to the Mutual Defense Treaty and continued patrols in the West Philippine Sea, signaling resolve. This dual-track approach, economic partnership with China, security with the US, is a delicate balancing act, requiring constant negotiation and vigilance. Critics question if Manila can truly maintain this posture, or if conflicting interests will eventually force a choice. The challenge remains: can the Philippines harness China's opportunities without sacrificing its autonomy or core national interests? Public reaction is deeply polarized. A recent survey shows 48% support the deal, 42% oppose, and 10% are undecided. Support is strongest in poorer regions, where jobs and infrastructure are most needed. Opposition is fierce in urban centers among the middle class, students, and academics, focused on sovereignty and security. Protests have erupted in Manila and Cebu, with slogans like "Philippines is not for sale." Social media is a battleground. Government-backed content touts benefits, while critics warn of debt traps and lost sovereignty. Business groups are cautiously optimistic but demand transparency. Fisherfolk, especially in the West Philippine Sea, fear for their livelihoods and oppose the deal. Civil society voices add urgency and emotion to the debate. The nation remains sharply divided. A region on watch, the US expressed concern, emphasizing transparency and sustainable financing. Washington sees the move as a setback for its Indo-Pacific strategy. ASEAN's response is mixed. Cambodia and Laos welcome the decision, while Vietnam and Malaysia are wary. Some fear a weakened ASEAN stance on the South China Sea. Japan and Australia, key Philippine partners, are also uneasy. Tokyo may now compete directly with Chinese firms. Canberra worries about Chinese naval access. Manila's pivot is forcing strategic recalculations across the region. The decision has introduced new uncertainty into ASEAN dynamics. Allies are watching closely, reassessing their own strategies. The ripple effects are global. A history of turbulent tides. Sino-Philippine ties have swung between trade and suspicion for centuries. Pre-colonial trade links are often cited by proponents of closer ties. Modern relations, however, are shaped by Cold War alliances and South China Sea disputes. The 2016 Hague ruling favored the Philippines, but China rejected it. Rodrigo Duterte downplayed the ruling for economic engagement, a policy his daughter now extends. The Philippines sees China as both opportunity and threat. Leaders have long struggled to balance economic gains with sovereignty concerns. The New Era deal marks a bet that economic benefits will outweigh geopolitical risks. This gamble echoes throughout the nation's history, charting the unseen waters. China's initiative will reshape Philippine foreign policy but not erase old alliances. The Mutual Defense Treaty with the U.S. will likely remain, providing a security backstop. The government will continue to reference the 2016 arbitral award, even if not enforced. Expect a quieter approach to South China Sea disputes, favoring bilateral talks over public confrontation. Manila may become a more accommodating voice for China within ASEAN. This shift could reduce the Philippines' strategic autonomy, making it more dependent on Beijing. The country risks losing leverage with the US, Japan, and others. The outcome depends on project success, debt sustainability, and public perception. If benefits materialize, a China-friendly policy could become entrenched. If not, backlash could swing the country back toward traditional partners. The Philippines faces profound uncertainty. Today's choices will shape its future for decades. The inescapable question. The Philippines' acceptance of China's initiative is a watershed moment. More than an economic deal, it's a strategic pivot. The $75 billion promise could transform the nation, but the swift, secretive approval has fueled fierce debate. The country is divided and the world is watching. The administration calls it independent policy. Critics warn of lost sovereignty. The coming years will test this grand experiment. Will economic gains outweigh the risks? Or is this the start of a new dependency? As the Philippines sails into uncharted waters, one question remains. Is this a true choice, or an inevitability shaped by geography and economics?